Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of March 2025. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general forecast. If you would like your own personal numerology, in where we'll take a look at the numbers of your charts, your forecast, all of the good things, then please book some time with me. My information is in the description box below, and I would love to work with you. All right, let's take a look at what March has in store. Life Path 33.6. So you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 45.9 for March. So if I were to sort of summarize this in a few words, what this month will hold for you all, I would say you're meant to manage your expectations this month. Meet people where they're at, see things for what they are, be very present, come back to the present moment as much as possible, and manage your expectations. So when we can manage our expectations, we can still have hope and optimism and all the things and excitement and all of that and joy and all the things. But when our expectations are too high for something or for someone, then when that person or that thing is not able to meet that expectation, then it creates disappointment and resentment and negativity. And when we can manage our expectations, again, by, keeping our heads in the clouds, but also staying within reality and seeing the situation for what it is, meeting that person for where they're at, we can see the potential of the situation or the person, but we also have to be open to seeing them for who they are in this moment, right? Or the situation for what it is in this moment. That will alleviate that spiral down or that fall down that we are likely going to experience if our expectations are too high. And there's a saying, I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like the higher the expectation, the greater the fall. And really it just means rarely do things or people live up to our expectations. Even ourselves, rarely do we live up to our own expectations, which then creates resentment and shame and all of the things and self-doubt and all of the things. And so this month could hold some lessons in why it's important to manage our expectations. And so you just want to make sure that you're seeing the lessons for what they are. And it doesn't mean that just because someone or something can't meet those expectations that it can't work or there's something wrong with that person or the thing. It just means that it's not there yet. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, we might have an idea for a new business or something, right? And the expectation might be like, we're going to hit $1 million with that new business in the first month. Is it possible? Sure, anything's possible. Is it realistic? Probably not, right? Especially if you're just starting with a new seed. And so to have that high of an expectation, when you don't hit those numbers within the first month, then obviously there's going to be repercussions from that, right? Like emotionally and all the things. So if we can maintain the hope without attachment or the optimism or, seeing the potential without clinging to the expectation, then we're more likely to be successful in that relationship, in that endeavor, whatever it may be, or that situation. When we can manage our expectations. Doesn't mean we can't have what we want, and it doesn't mean that it'll never get to that point of that higher expectation, right? Like meeting that higher expectation. But it certainly will probably take longer than what we're allowing for. So definitely an opportunity this month, and I would say you might have several opportunities to see where it is that your expectations of the other person, of the situation, are actually causing the harm, are actually doing the damage, and probably deteriorating those connections or that situation. And so there probably needs to be some course correcting there as well. And to recognize doesn't mean it can't be what you want it to be. Just means it might take time and it might look very different than what you expect it to look like. But doesn't mean that it's not going to be wonderful or all of the things. So really powerful lessons there. And we're all guilty of that, of having these high expectations of ourselves, of others, of situations, of experiences. We're all guilty of it on repeat. And, life will quickly show us that rarely do things present ever as we expect them to. Usually they present better down the road if we can manage our expectations. And so I would say this month will potentially hold a lot of gains. For some of you, there could be some inheritances this month that come in, or some legal proceedings that pay off, some winnings, that sort of thing could come through this month. That's very possible during this cycle. But I would also say there's a possibility that they may not live up to your expectations, right? So I don't know, this is an awful example, but let's say you have a really rich uncle that you didn't really know very well, right? And that rich uncle passes away and you're in the will. I would definitely say manage your expectations, because you might get some kind of inheritance, but it might not live up to those expectations of what it might be. Awful example, but you know what I mean. And so this is an opportunity again to not focus on the quote unquote losses of the situation. And by losses, I just mean like something not living up to your expectation, right? There's kind of a loss there. I mean, there's a perceived loss there. And so don't focus on the loss. Don't focus on what didn't turn out the way you expected it to be. Use that energy to focus on the actual gain. Like, what is working? Like, what is the situation? And it's through that gain, like let's say that you do get some kind of inheritance this month, but it's not what you expected it to be. Or let's just say a raise. Let's say that you're up for promotion, you get a raise, but it's not what you expected it to be. Let's say it's fair, but it's not what you expected it to be. Instead of focusing and brooding over that quote unquote loss and that failure to meet your expectation, focus on the gain and initiate something new from that gain, right? Don't spend your time and your energy regretting what didn't work out, or even regretting your past mistakes or what you perceive to be your past mistakes, etc. Learn from those shortcomings or those mistakes or what didn't work or what didn't meet your expectations. Learn from that and build from there, right? Proceed forward. Don't get stuck in, again, the things that didn't meet those expectations or the things that didn't work out. Because this month will bring in, or has the potential to bring in, sufficient gains. And, these gains will help you to realize that using your energy, right, towards building on whatever these gains are, even if they don't meet your expectations, will actually set the stage for the rewards that are due to come around the next time around. You see what I'm saying? So just pay attention to where you're focusing your energy this month. Is it on the things that didn't work out and you're beating yourself up for that, or you're resentful of that, or are you focused on what is working and the gains? Because it's really going to serve you better this month to focus on the gains and to focus on what is working. That's going to give you the energy to build towards what it is that you actually really want. You could see people come into your life at this time who have been in your life in the past, and they may resurface at this time. So it could be an old partner shows up at this time. It could be old friends show up at this time. And it could bring up memories from the past or situations from the past that could trigger some things within you to kind of be worked through. And again, I would say, don't get too caught up in the past. I mean, you can look at it and learn the lessons from the past, obviously. And I think that's really a lot of what this energy is asking of you, is to learn from the past, not get stuck there, and not to be overly focused on what's not working or what didn't work out. But you might see someone that you knew from the past in a picture or something like that, and it might bring something up, and that's a lesson. That's an opportunity there to again, learn from that past experience. And when you can learn from the past experience, then you can let go of it. You can let it go, right? It's done. It's served its purpose. And then you'll form new alliances, new friends, new doors will open for the future, right? That will be more aligned with who you are at this time. I would also say that this could be a month where you come to recognize some of your own gifts, some of your own resources, some of your own talents, strengths that you didn't realize that you had or you were overlooking, and they could come to the forefront at this time. And this is a great month to do something with those, to maybe go back to school and or take a workshop or become the expert in that area, right? So that you can start to share those in some way. Beautiful energy for that this month. Yeah, I think the key this month is not to get tripped up on the past, not to get tripped up on the mistakes, not to get tripped up on the things that didn't work out the way you wanted them to, because there's nothing there for you now, like other than a lesson. And so take the lesson and make something better from it. Now, your animal wisdom message for this month is eagle energy. And it's interesting because obviously with eagle, right, eagle eye, it's an opportunity to pull back and to get a better perspective. And, when I think about this energy, it's kind of like the 5 of Cups in tarot, where there's like this cloaked guy or person, this cloaked figure, just very like grief and remorse and staring at these turned over cups, right? The cups that didn't work, right? That fell. And they're missing what's still standing. Like they're missing the opportunities because they're so hyper-focused on what's not working or what didn't work or their failures or whatever. And with eagle energy, coming in, is this opportunity to pull back and to actually see the landscape for what it truly is. Yes, there's losses, but there's also gains. And we can either stay focused on the losses or we can focus on the gains. And the gains are what is going to give us the greater opportunities, right? And the joy and all those things. So beautiful energy here. A lot of opportunities this month to let go and release what's no longer working, what's no longer serving, what's served its purpose. And to release some of the emotional baggage that might be caught up in some of that as well. So hope it's a great one. All right. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.